Working Fans Podcast. Cool.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Coming down 3, 2.
Welcome back for another week of the Working Fans Podcast. This is AJ. I'm the former wrestler. We've got Dave, the ultimate fan, here with us. As we do every week, our producer Joe likes to make us sound good and makes us look way more professional than we actually are. As always, you can find us on Twitter, that's @FansWorking, Facebook, Working Fans Pod. We've got email where you can reach out to us and please contact us to let us know what you think of the podcast and for any ideas that you might have. That's workingfanswrestlingpod@gmail.com. We're on Instagram where you can keep up with us at workingfanswrestling_pod. And then you can now listen to us on all major platforms, including Anchor.fm. We're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts, and you can actually check us out on YouTube. Now, it's important when you go onto the Apple Podcasts and YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a rating, let us know what you think so you can help us out and we can continue to do what we love and bring you guys in as fans.
All right, Working Fans, welcome back to the 531. You got the disclaimer on the top of the episode.
Go fuck yourself.
It's the top 5 fucking...
Yeah.
I'm about as excited for this 531 as I think I might be for Mania itself.
3 times, baby. 3 times.
3 times. I mean, we're going to watch it.
By the way.
Once, hopefully.
I'll throw it off the subject. Speaking of that, I know there's been a lot of shit talking about Mania, and I'm not crazy about it either, but did you catch any of the promos from Raw this week?
No.
Oh, man. I was listening to posts, and they were actually talking about how it was one of the better Raws since this whole thing went down.
Yeah.
So I decided to watch the promos. Absolutely out of my favorite, Undertaker, just being Mark Calloway.
Yeah.
Fucking killed it. Just to give you some highlights, he basically talked about how AJ's just pissed off because his wife did a better version of the Styles Clash.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically that he's going to hope those other ass clowns are there, and the only reason why they never wrestled before was because he hung out in a small pond and didn't want to compete with the big boys like Triple H, Shawn Michaels. And now what was odd about this, I know it was a good interview and I'm recommending it, he also did mention Booker T, Mick Foley, and several other guys who went to TNA. So There's a little bit of humor in that too if you obviously follow along.
Alright, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, that I would say, and the Edge one, Edge continues to knock this out of the park. But anyway, so fun fact, I'll give a little positive. Now let's angry fuck this bitch and do this right.
Alright. We got Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group. A couple of the members gave us some lists. Kevin Dignam gave us Savage vs. Steamboat.
What's that name again?
Kevin Dignam.
All right.
Dignam.
I thought you said Dick Man. All right.
Savage vs. Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. Owen vs. Brett, WrestleMania 10. Taker vs. Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Savage vs. Flair, WrestleMania 8. And Austin vs. Brett, WrestleMania 13. What, obviously, Savage vs. Steamboat stands out. Yeah. Owen versus Brett, we're going to hear.
Oh, you're going to hear this a shitload, baby, because we've heard it a bunch of times. This is the 3rd time we're doing this shit.
Savage versus Flair is one that doesn't pop up on a lot of lists.
No, that's a great WrestleMania 8 card. Actually, no, I wouldn't say it was a great card, but there's 2 matches on that card that I talked about prior.
It just feels like you're saying the same sentence
over
It does.
Again. It's going to be the first time some people hear it. But yeah, that Mania wasn't the best overall, but there are 2 gems in there, and that's Hart versus Piper and Savage versus Flair.
All right, William Bozard, also from Rockin' Randy's group, had Brett versus Owen, WrestleMania 10. Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13. Steamboat versus Savage, WrestleMania 3. Flair versus Savage again, WrestleMania 8. And Austin versus Rock, WrestleMania 15.
I'll tell you what, have a little fun with this. While you name all these matches, I'm going to see if I can pick a classic match off that list of guys, like say Savage and Steamboat.
Yeah.
And I'll try to think of another classic match that maybe they had. I'm going to try to entertain myself throughout this, if anything, all right? So, if you've never seen it, go back to one of the Clash of Champions. I believe it was in July of 94. Steve Austin versus Ricky Steamboat for the U.S. title. Great matchup. I want to say that's where Steamboat wins the U.S. title, and then he ends up retiring for a little while because he injures his back.
All right.
I don't know if I can do this to everyone. You got a lot of 5-3-1.
We'll see. We got a lot of lists. Ryan Damon, also from the group, had Steamboat versus Savage, WrestleMania 3. Michaels versus Angle, WrestleMania 22. Owen versus Brett, WrestleMania 10. Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13. And Rousey versus Becky versus Charlotte.
Okay, how about a memory from from people on these lists? All right, for me, Kurt Angle. Shut up, Joe.
What do you remember about Kurt Angle?
I remember a lot about Kurt Angle, but a moment that pops in my head is when he first showed up at TNA and he headbutted Samoa Joe on his first night. Very good.
That's when he was all hopped up on the painkillers.
Yeah, he's hopped on the painkillers. Then they had a promo afterwards where he said, for years I heard about what a devastating and basically crazy killer Joe was, and all I found out is that he was a bleeder. So, good stuff.
Chris Zaha, this episode's guest, had Austin versus Brett, WrestleMania 13. Brett versus Owen, WrestleMania 10. Steamboat versus Savage, WrestleMania 3. Michaels versus Taker, WrestleMania 25. And Michaels versus Razor, WrestleMania 10. We've talked multiple times about how iconic that Michaels and Razor ladder match is. What do you think it is about that match that makes it stand out so much over the years?
Trying to get me off my memory track for this is bullshit. That's all right, because you're right. WrestleMania 10. Man, it was really the first time we had a ladder match on that kind of stage. There were ladder matches in other companies at that time, but they weren't that much attention. And even there were some ladder matches in WWF. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had a ladder match on Coliseum Home Video's Smack 'em Whack 'em. Check that out. I called the video store asking when that came in. Razor and Shaw was the first time it was really on such a high profile.
Were they ever worried that you kept wondering when Smack 'em Whack 'em's coming in?
I made sure to say
WWF's
Smack 'em Whack 'em. Yeah.
That's the video with Sable.
Yeah, it should be out today. Just call him.
AJ gave us a list, and he wasn't worried about Smack 'em Whack 'em. He's looking for Brett versus Owen, WrestleMania 10. Flair versus Michaels, WrestleMania 24. Santana versus the Masked Executioner. That's Tito Santana versus Buddy Rose under Owen, WrestleMania 1.
Classic.
Piper versus Goldust, WrestleMania 9?
12.
12.
Yes.
And Benoit versus Triple H versus Michaels.
Yes. You know what? Here, let's take a parking lot brawl, WrestleMania 12. All right? Interesting setting.
Hollywood backlot brawl.
Yes, Hollywood, yes, very good.
Because then they used the OJ footage.
They did.
Had AJ on the mind. I was thinking the AJ footage.
Now,
that's another lost file.
Talk about WrestleMania this week. Again, probably not going to be a good show. One of the things I've heard people blast about is like this Boneyard match with AJ and Undertaker. AJ Styles, not our own AJ. But
he's not coming back off the bench for this one.
Not for this one, baby. Not for this one. And then there's another one, Funhouse fight.
Oh yeah, the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, so great. I do want to tell people, don't just get ready to shit on it. Let's watch it first. Because
I'm looking forward to the Firefly Funhouse match, but the Boneyard match, I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna
You know what? I want to point this out. I'm not really looking forward either for different reasons, but I do want to point this out. Mankind, Undertaker, Boiler Room Brawl.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome match. They beat the shit out of each other. It can be done proper. AJ Styles is an amazing guy. At this point in his career, what Taker can do, and the big question is how these segments are going to be produced. That's how it's really going to be. When you're dealing with an outside thing like this, it's how does this all play out, and everybody has a job to do. It's very hit or miss. Sometimes these are home runs, though.
It's almost like the interest in WrestleMania is just to see how it's going to look now that it's not a grand spectacle. Charging $60 for this shit on a fight for 2 nights.
Yeah, it's fucking wild to me.
$40 a night.
Yeah, people that don't have... The thing is, they're going to get someone who's going to pay that, because there's people that don't have, like, the internet or anything, like, a good internet connection around near them, or WWE Network in that area.
If you're listening to us and you're buying WrestleMania on Fight, I don't know how you found us at the farthest ends of the internet.
Yeah. No, I don't think our fans are going to have any issue. Yeah. I thought you were going to give them, like, your...
My password?
Your login information.
Those that got it.
So I was going to say, though, one thing I learned about empty arena matches between all the shows, I love promos can still be good. Video packages can still be good. Debuts, reveals are good. Squash matches are good. Aleister Black had a squash match this week. Very well done. Looked great. unfortunately, long matches, competitive long matches without the fans, and I'll point to even Kenny Omega and Sammy Guevara on this. They had a decent match to me.
Yeah.
But without the fans, to me, it was missing my interest. That's a personal thing on me. Like, the fans are really just an added element I like to have in there. Now, you can do an empty arena match once in a while. You can have a hardcore empty arena match. Tim Storm and Josephus, they showed that from 2018. This was going to end up being Power.
That was a real good one.
It was good. And I think there's other matches like that that's been done. But unfortunately, just a straight up, no story, regular, back and forth long match with no crowd just gets old.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Now, Josh Dunn, he was on one of these 531s.
Yeah.
We got his list. He had Owen versus Brett, WrestleMania 10. Hogan versus Savage, WrestleMania 5. Rock versus Hogan. Fucked if I know when that happened.
WrestleMania 18, baby. I got
All
you.
right. Rock versus Cena.
Rock versus
29.
Cena. I want to say 27. I could be
Okay.
wrong.
Undertaker versus Triple H, whenever that happened.
Actually, that might have been 27. Wait, that one was 28. I think he's picking the one in the Hell in a Cell. Unless he means 17. There was one they don't really talk about. Both were really good, though.
I think it might have been a Hell in the Cell, because I remember from our discussion with
That's
him,
what we talked about.
Hogan versus Warrior was everybody's big pick, and he wanted to go with Hogan versus Savage, because if I remember correctly,
Better build.
Yeah, he said the build was everything.
Yeah, the match we talked about, I wasn't sure if it was on his list, was Taker and Triple H in Hell in a Cell. Shawn Michaels was the special referee that year, too.
Okay.
Triple H beat the shit out of him with chairs. That's how I remember.
Well, we'll never know exactly what we talked about, because that file's
That's dead.
fucking dead.
Also, by the way, whenever you say Josh Dunn, I think of, there was a tag team in WWE.
Well done.
Well done. Timothy Wells, Stephen Dunn.
Well, Josh, we hope you find your Timothy well out there.
We hope you do, sir.
Zach St. John sent us a list. He gave us Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13. Taker versus Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Hardys versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys, WrestleMania 17. Michaels versus Austin, I don't have a WrestleMania on that. And Brett versus Owen, WrestleMania 10. Dave, what does that stir up in your memory for this list?
Kind of makes me think of the Bret Owen SummerSlam match from '94, where Bulldog and Davey Boy interfered and came back at the same time.
Both of them?
They did? Bulldog, and Anvil, Jim Anvil Neidhart. Yeah,
I was wondering if you were going to catch it.
I was in the middle of a cough. I'm trying to get through this. I got some Corona cooking up here.
Jesse from New Hampshire. We still got to apologize to the good state of New Hampshire. You have a liquor store that's tax-free, I believe.
Yeah.
AJ wants to shit on New Hampshire. You guys are a small state, but fuck, Rhode Island's even smaller, and I bet AJ likes Rhode Island.
I think AJ has said good pussy in Rhode Island. I could be wrong. I don't remember. Might have been a while. He's a married man now, but I mean back in the day.
Rock versus Austin, WrestleMania 15. Brock versus Angle, WrestleMania 19.
That's a good one.
Hold on, Jesse. I'm fucking laughing too much here.
Put yourself together.
Your list isn't getting the proper respect, so.
Yeah.
Rock versus Austin, WrestleMania 15.
Yes.
Brock versus Angle, WrestleMania 19. Savage versus Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. Somebody's fucking hammering. Michaels versus Hart, WrestleMania 12.
We got neighbors, folks.
And Hogan versus Warrior, WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
And
Edge was
Jesse wanted me to mention this because he specifically hates Warrior. Yet Warrior made it on the list. And by the sound of the neighbor next door, I think he fucking hates Warrior too.
Oh, he does. He can't stand him.
What is it? Destruicity doesn't make the world go round?
Yeah.
So what does this list kick up for you in your memory?
Edge was in attendance for that WrestleMania 6 match.
6, was he?
Yeah. Brock falling on his fucking head is something I remember.
Oh, yeah, breaking his neck on that shooting star.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think a guy that size can do something like that. And it happens a lot in the WWE where big guys get moves like that taken away. Like, I've heard specifically, like, Mike Awesome couldn't do a top rope splash in the WWE. And it looks amazing when he does it, but when you think about how WWE treats their big men, they fight like big men.
Do you see any of the Broken Skull sessions?
Nah, I saw some of the Undertaker one.
Okay, so they just did one with Big Show not too long ago, and there's uncensored versions of these up now, too.
Okay.
So I listened to one last night, and Big Show was talking about how when he was in WCW, he used to work too much athletically, and a lot of the guys saw dollar signs in him, But, they didn't teach him how to be a giant. And in WWE, he got heat for that right away.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and also a great funny story, too. This has nothing to do with anything, but I just really enjoyed the story. Was they were showing pictures of Mark Henry, and Big Show was talking about how strong Mark Henry was, and how strong Brock was and John Cena, and the differences in their strength. They were asking him to show a picture of him and Mark Henry look like they're arm wrestling each other. And Steve Austin goes, who would win? And Big Show didn't hesitate. And he goes, well, I would win an arm wrestling match. And he goes, really? He goes, I'm undefeated. He's like, as a shoot. He's like, I beat Scott Norton, who was an arm wrestling champion. And Austin was like, a shoot? And he goes, absolutely. So I thought that was pretty impressive because I had always heard that Scott Norton was one of the most dominant arm wrestlers of all time.
I think that's the Ultimate Mania match right there. Like, how is that not on this year's Mania? Could they do an arm wrestling match? Yeah. I would watch it, given that build-up.
The shoot, yeah.
That kind of confidence. Mm-hmm. Scott from Voluntown got us a list. He got Austin versus Hart, WrestleMania 13.
Yeah.
Taker versus Michaels. Ooh, I hate to put words in his mouth. I'm gonna say I don't fucking know.
25.
25?
Yeah.
Hardys versus Edge and Christian versus Dudley's. Savage versus Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. And that Michaels versus Ramon, WrestleMania 10.
I think AJ said there was good pussy in Voluntown, too. But, I don't know. One of the things,
right next door to Rhode Island.
Yeah, he probably stopped on the way when he was going to Rhode Island. AJ was quite the lover of.
It's a good thing his wife doesn't listen to this podcast, right?
I think as a shoot, she said, "I hate that fucking podcast," but that's all right.
We almost got it on the air. We are so close. You guys don't even know. It's the ultimate soundbite.
Ultimate soundbite. Maybe someday.
So, what were you saying after good pussy in Voluntown?
I don't remember. Let's move on.
Randy from Griswold.
Randy.
Randy Osgood. Why the fuck are we kayfabing?
I don't know, man. He's been on the podcast. Loyal member.
Goldberg versus Lesnar, WrestleMania 33. I believe that got, a hearty chuckle out of Josh Dunn?
Yeah, I think he was like, good pussy in Griswold, but...
Michaels versus Razor, WrestleMania 10. Piper versus Hart, WrestleMania 8. Hogan versus Warrior, WrestleMania 6. Austin versus Rock, WrestleMania 17. Dave, at this point, I'm almost terrified to ask, what does this list make you think of? If you say there's good pussy in Voluntown, I'm going to lose my shit.
Well, we already covered that, so we don't need to cover it again. I think I'm just going to talk about what a loyal fan Randy Oscar is for being there for us all the time with these lists.
Dude, he's going to be convinced you're drunk this week. You realize that, right?
Yeah, Patreon, Randy, Oscar, fans only. We could maybe do something with this podcast. Fans only.
We probably
what does that mean? Anyway,
that'd be nice if we could start a Patreon. That's a goal, right?
Absolutely. I think we call it fans only. I hear that's a good thing right now.
All right. Well, maybe we can. If anybody's interested in us doing a Patreon, tell us the kind of shit that you'd want to cover, and we'll see what we can find.
And I think you should look up fans only, by the way, because Aria Blake from MLW has a fans only page, and it's interesting.
Oh, is that where you take pictures and like the sunny shit?
Yeah, I think so. We're not doing that.
No, I was gonna say, like, if AJ wants to do it, fine, but
AJ will do anything for this podcast. He's our boy. He's got this.
He just wouldn't do
He's a 10-year pro.
Alright, where the fuck were we?
That's Meatloaf would say.
Randy's list, did that...
well, I mean, I think I said it before. I will say one thing about the Brock Goldberg match. It doesn't make my top Mania matches of all time, but it's the best damn match that Bill Goldberg ever had.
Yeah, and it was the better of the two that they did.
Oh, not even close.
Sheaf from Waterford brought us Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13. Brett versus Owen, WrestleMania 10.
Yes.
Michaels versus Taker, WrestleMania 25. Shawn versus Razor, WrestleMania 10. And Hogan versus Vince.
Yes. Good pussy in Waterford.
I knew it was coming.
Alright.
I think we found our new gimmick.
Yeah. Well, first off...
questionable pussy in New London, by the way.
Yeah, I believe that. Sheaf, first off, he's the fourth man. He's a part of this podcast. He's here with us every week in spirit.
Does he do the Instagram anymore?
I don't think so.
I haven't watched the Instagram in a while.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think we stopped talking to him and giving back the information.
Yeah, we could have dropped the ball.
Yeah.
You guys are getting some real world shit right now. We're working through some things.
So, I've kind of basically started using the other Instagram, not to promote yet, because I'm still holding out hope that maybe Sheaf will do something. But I also I'm messaging people from the old Instagram page.
Okay.
So it's like, maybe.
We're muddy in the waters.
We know. I mean, well, this one might be dead in the water. I don't know.
So anything from Chief's list, or probably just that we should talk to him about the Instagram?
Yeah, we gotta talk to him.
We're gonna edit this down.
Yeah, he was. He's me and him got along really well. He's a good Bret Hart fan. Knows how to fuck. Good kid.
Sean White brought us a list. Taker versus Michaels, WrestleMania 25. Bryan versus Austin versus Batista, WrestleMania 30. Benoit versus Michaels versus Triple H. WrestleMania 20? 2000?
Yes.
Yeah, WrestleMania 20, I thought so. Michaels versus Taker, WrestleMania 26. And Dudley's versus Hardy's versus Edge and Christian.
He picked the 26 one with Michaels and Taker, huh?
Yeah, he brought both of them on that list.
Nice. Yeah. Great video package for that 26 one with Sean's career on the line. Yeah, man, people can't tell. We definitely struggled to get to this 531. I'll probably have to go out with some kind of press release on everything I've said today.
I mean, basically you've said most of New London County's got some good pussy.
I mean, I'm putting them over, you know? And also, I'm quoting AJ on some of that. He was
actually, a lot of it was quotes from AJ.
Yeah. Big, solid Rhode Island guy. He can't say nothing.
All right, so my list... I mean, who really gives a fuck at this point?
Hit it
Bret versus Owen, WrestleMania 10.
Hit it with it, Joe.
Michaels versus Razor, WrestleMania 10. Hogan versus Warrior, WrestleMania 6. Bryan versus Orton versus Batista, WrestleMania 30. Dudley's versus Hardy's versus Edge and Christian.
Is there a quota for how many times I can say the fuck or pussy in the podcast?
We're going to find out this week. Randy's going to think you're tanked.
I definitely stretched out the word pussy in this one. Yes.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
I mean, we're hoping this will be entertaining because we brought, zero energy on this?
Yeah.
Dave, give us your list, and then we're going to finish off this thing.
My list: Bret versus Austin. HBK versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 21. Randy Savage versus Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. Bret versus Piper, WrestleMania 8. And the TLC ladder match from WrestleMania 17. Edge, Christian, Dudley's, and the Hardys. Man, if you look at this list, you'll see Bret on it multiple times. I'm a huge Bret Hart mark. So at the end of the day, I am very biased towards Bret. That's my list, baby. What do we got? Who do we want to debate here?
All right. We've done this list. Like we said, this is our third time. We have had 3 different outcomes. So... Savage versus Steamboat, obviously on there.
Absolutely.
You're going to pick a match?
I'll pick a match.
I'll pick a match, and then that'll be the top 3.
We got to put Bret and Austin on there.
I'm going to argue for Hogan versus Savage.
Okay.
When we talked to Josh, he made a very good argument as for why that should be mentioned versus Warrior. So, of those matches, which is the first to go?
Hogan Savage. I'm not a fan of that match overall.
All right, and you're not going to move off Bret and Austin, I hear you?
No, I'm not. I'll tell you why. First off, he's right about one thing. Great build.
Yeah.
One thing that took me out of WrestleMania 4 and 5 wasn't a very lively crowd. You've been hearing me talk for the last few weeks about crowds, especially with everything going on. That's a sticking point for me. It was the casino audience. They were done in Atlantic City. And there were some good entrances and stuff like that. And to me, Hogan was just starting to get stale at this point in his career. They were going back to Hogan, but honestly, I just felt like, you're going to see why I think they put the belt on Warrior at WrestleMania 6 a year later. There was a portion of the audience, me included, who was just getting tired of Hogan at that point.
I hear you.
Maybe I'm a little older, too, so maybe that's it. I don't know.
So, I mean, I think the audience has suffered through this enough. We're going to give it to Bret versus Austin. And you know what they say. There's good pussy in Atlantic City, but you gotta pay for it.
All right, so that wraps us up for this week. Thank you again for listening to the Working Fans Podcast. So as always, you can find us on Twitter at FansWorking. Our Facebook page is Working Fans Wrestling Pod. We have email where you can reach out to us and let us know what you think also. That's workingfanswrestlingpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram, workingfanswrestling_pod. And then as always, please continue to listen to us on Anchor.fm, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, all your major platforms, If you're following us on Apple Podcasts, which we are also on now, and YouTube, please make sure you subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. It helps us bring you these podcasts where we get to talk to you and talk with you every week.